The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker, and as usual, I am joined by my son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello there. That sounded like that was a real struggle for you to say.
It was a bit. I'm having a bit of a struggle with a lot of things at the moment. The world is a struggle, and my life within it is more so, or something. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Oh, better than I was yesterday, better than I was the day before that.
Okay,
Well, I am at the moment, anyway.
fairly enough. Right, we shall be doing 2 short films and a feature film this
Yes.
episode, concentrating on the sort of horror side of things. The first short film is from 2023, and it's called Succubus A Distance.
Yeah.
Not quite sure exactly what that means, but there you go. It's written, edited, directed, and the cinematographer is Hal Sinden. His cast is Sin Ariad and Raven Victoria.
Yeah.
The synopsis for the film says a young woman suffers night terrors which suggest that all may not safely rest in the realm of sleep. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. I really like the atmosphere and the look of the film. It's got some good camera effects and some good imagery. I don't know. It's not a scary film. It's kind of.
No.
It's one of those films that is sort of it's an atmospheric sort of horror-ish
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. No.
It's kind of sort of disturbingly odd, but
Yeah,
quite good.
I think, like you said, the atmosphere build up and the use of music sort of gives you that, the suspense and makes it all that. But I wouldn't say it's more. So I know we've talked about this before about the fact that there's so many different types of horror.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't have to be blood and gore. It doesn't have to be supernatural stuff. You can have psychological horrors and stuff like that. Now, I agree. I'd find it. I spent most of the day trying to sort of. I don't know whether or not categorizing it's the right word, but sort of trying to think to myself where I would fit it in if someone said, "What genre do you think it's like? What
yeah,
part of horror would you say it is?" I found it very hard to do. I've gone more. I don't know, sort of the psychological supernatural sort of side of it. But
yeah,
again,
definitely.
it's very hard to sort of go, yeah, it's definitely that.
But yeah, I mean, as you said, the music and the sound really work well to
Yeah.
create the atmosphere
Mm.
and the kind of sort of oddness about the film.
Yeah,
It works
I
really
agree.
well.
I agree with you as well. The cinematography, some of the some of the angles of when looking at the her line when she's asleep are very well done. But then the sort of the way it was done when it's portraying what she was seeing in a dream,
Yeah,
were amazing. I thought them were amazing to see because it's sort of with the lighting as well. It showed enough for you to know that it was sort of this dream state and there was a reason for her to be freaked, but not enough for it to be like over the top and you know exactly what's going on. I did
yeah.
like that within it.
I think the other thing, the only thing about it for me is, I think maybe it's because of that we've watched too many other films that do it. It kind of I went all the way through it expecting the end of it to be a jump scare, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I've got. I did. Did the same thing. I was expecting something to happen. Like, it doesn't help the fact that the night before I'd watched Nightmare on Elm Street, so I was expecting sort of Sleep Demon. but
Yeah,
yeah, no, but I do agree. I was expecting something. It's nice that there wasn't. It's sort of that whole something's going to happen. You build and you edge yourself towards it, and nothing happens. But I don't know. It's almost that fact that you've edged yourself so much to that point. And there's going to be a jump scare, and you prepare yourself, and then it doesn't. You're like, oh,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know. It's still very good and very well done.
Oh yes, it's a very good film, very well made film, and I think it is good that there isn't the jump scare there. I think it's just I kind of expected it to be because so many of these sort of films I've seen with that jump scare, and I
Yeah.
just kind of expect it. Not that it was a problem it not being there, but just but
It's
no, I
almost
thought it was a
become like
very
you
good
said, like
film.
it's you expect it because of everyone
Mm.
else does it. So
Yeah,
it's good to see the fact that they're following that path, but also gone on their own little sort of tangent down their own bit.
yeah, definitely. I really like it. I think it's a really good film. Okay, the second one is called The Room. This
Yes.
is Hiroki Movies from 2014. I was very confused with who was in this and who wasn't because I couldn't work out about people's names and TV company names, and I didn't know what was going on. It just lists them all, so I'm not going to go through that. Um, it doesn't have a synopsis as such. This film, but what did you think?
I- oh, sorry. I was. I don't know. I think because of the fact that I'm so used to watching these and they're having a little bit of a synopsis and they're sort of giving a bit of detail and a bit of information that it wasn't with this one, or there wasn't so much, and
Yeah,
it was a bit hard to sort of go. But I'm I'm a bit disappointed that it was only as short as it was. I think that because I wanted to know like more what was going on, like why they were there for a start in this room, and what led them to
yeah.
sort of having a check
I,
out, and then but what happened for it to be what I think is a loop.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I thought it was a kind of loop, and I wasn't sure if it might have been an escape room or if it was
Mm,
like a sort of haunted house type thing, a Scooby Doo type sort of. They've gone into the room looking for
yeah,
or whatever.
it's just I did the same. I was sitting there like a bit confused by it, but I was also sort of sat there at the end, and I was like, I would want them to expand it
I
because
mean,
of the fact that it's sort of I was like, so what's happening?
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's very good and very odd, but
Mm,
it is by the looks of it, it's part of a series of films done by the
yeah,
same people that are done in conjunction with YouTube.
yeah, I think it's YouTube. Is YouTube TV or something,
Yeah.
or YouTube Tokyo or something like that. But it come up at the end of it saying it was in conjunction with them.
And it shows little clips from about four or five other films.
Yeah,
I was also interested to see that they had a special thanks on it to Guillermo del Toro. Can't say his name. Del Toro.
yes, yes.
Um,
Very bizarre because the fact that it seemed like the fact that they're all obviously Japanese and the way it is, and it's just. But I love the fact that there's recognition there
I
between
think
them all.
I'm not sure if that's just because they're fans of his or if he had actually had anything to do with it at all.
That'd be a cool way to sort of go. Do you know these people have called you out and just want to get him to watch it so he watches it?
Yeah. But I mean, it's an interesting little film. It is very short and it doesn't really show you a lot about what's going on, which isn't a bad thing because we've said it before. Where it's really nice sometimes to be left with this. What the hell's that mean? What's going
Oh,
on?
I have got to say though, and this is I don't mean this in any bad way. Don't mean this as any to a stereotype or anything. But it does to go to prove that they're the best person you can use for a horror without going over the top of it is sort of Japanese Asian. That look, that
Yeah,
sort of dead look that girl had
yeah, the
was
sort of
amazing, and
glassy-eyed
I've seen.
stare. Yeah,
Yeah, and obviously I've seen it in the original Grudge and a few other films, and I was like, it's still I've seen horror films so many times, so different versions of the same thing, and it's always the Japanese ones that creep the life out of me. That dead sort of long stare and that sort of look they have, and it creeps me out. And I love the fact that it was done in the right way. It wasn't over the top of it, and it just showed it. And I think it was amazing. And I love, as I said, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I love that.
Yeah.
Like I could sit and
Yeah.
watch like slasher films and stuff like that, and it doesn't really do anything for me. But like watching that and having like that look that saying the boy from the original Grudge has is this girl has in it, I was like, and I sat there and I felt like all like the hair stand up on end.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was. I thought it was really good. Okay, on to our feature film. Now, this wasn't meant as a punishment, but to be honest, having watched it, I think it was. In the very first season of doing the Sci-Fi Film podcast, we did a review of the 1980 Doug McClure feature film, Humanoids from the Deep. Uh, this week, we are reviewing the 1996 remake, Humanoids from the Deep, directed by Jeff Yonis. Producer was Roger Corman, which tells you a whole lot that you need to know about the film. And it's the two of the main stars, Robert Carradine and Emma Sams. The synopsis for this says a fisherman and a scientist fight back when mossy sea monsters assault women. For some reason, I have no idea why the only version of this I could find on YouTube has got Dutch subtitles, which were
Yeah, I know.
annoying. They were annoying, but it was okay. Um, so this film suffers from a problem that I have with a lot of films, newer films, which is the
Yeah,
fact that in some parts it's so dark it's difficult to see what's going on. But I
yeah,
think that's because it's easier to make it so that you can't see how bad the makeup and special effects are.
yeah. Well, looking at a picture that has been brightened up of the creatures, I'm not surprised they made it as dark as it did. But I just,
But I've got to say that as far as it goes, I mean, this was a made for TV movie,
I'm
although
straight
it
to
was
TV.
also released on DVD.
Yeah, well,
Um, but I've got to say that having sat and watched this, the acting in this is no better than it was in the first film. In fact, if anything, I would say the first film was marginally better than this.
yeah. I've got. I was trying. I went into this trying to not compare it to the first one. Like I was sitting there like, do you know what? I'll go in. I'll go in with an open mind. It's got to be like, and as soon as the credits come up, my brain just went nope, and I just sat there and ripped it apart. And I'm just like, get the fact it's a '96 film. It's over 20 years, 25 years old. It's not gonna be the best quality on YouTube either, but I've seen film. We've watched films from the '70s, from the '50s that are way more better quality than this.
I know, I
And
know.
I will say though, apart from the monsters,
Right.
it's really it could be classed as a different film. But there's odd bits that are the
Yeah.
same to it. But it's just if they'd done a remake and it was like scene for scene, then I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a remake. But this is apart from obviously the creatures and the monster, like the monsters and sort of the way they were made.
Yeah. It is a very different story. It's
Yeah,
a very different,
there's no point. They didn't need to say it was a
it's,
remake. They could have just said this is a new film.
but it's
This,
just, it's, as I say, the acting isn't great. The effects aren't great. The makeup and the monster makeup isn't great. And it's just kind of like you just kind of think if you were going to take a film and do a remake of it, would you not try and improve on it?
just not try and choose a better film.
Well, yeah,
But
but it's no,
no,
you see, because I think the thing about it is I see too many remakes of good films that are really awful.
no, I do agree with you. If they had made this like obviously there's 16 years between the Doug McClure one and this one,
Yeah,
but it doesn't look it. It doesn't feel it. It
no,
doesn't.
it
And
doesn't.
if anything, it looks like it was made beforehand. It just
Yeah, it really quality wise and everything, acting wise, even it just is not
yeah.
as good as the
It's
original, which is saying something.
my only plus side to it was the way that the creatures were born.
Yeah,
But again, because of the timing and the year of it, it did look sort of a bit of a
I
sort
would
of nod
say
towards Alien.
yeah. Oh no, yeah, no, definitely. But I would say, to be honest, the only thing I really liked about it is I think the ending of it was really good.
Yes, I did like that.
That was about the best part of the film.
Yeah. I don't know. The actual scene of the doctor in the car was the best bit. The sort of mushy bit leading up to that bit was a bit
Yeah,
like, yeah, you can tell this is made for TV film because everything's happy and wonderful and there's dolly music and like you just all be massacred by fish people and you're all just hugging. I'd be sitting in a room going, I need some therapy. But see, I did something not stupid, but I sort of looked up a bit at this, and the cast that's in this,
mm,
a few of them went and done loads of good things, and loads of stuff that I enjoy. Like there's a person in this, he plays someone called Rob. He's called. His name is Walton Goggins. I love the man. He's an amazing actor. He's
mm,
gone on and done some of the best things that I love. And in this, and I sat there and I watched it, and I felt sorry for him. I'm like, unless this was a stepping stone for him,
yeah,
it's sort of that almost that sort of tarnish on everyone's, like that sort of that black mark on on your report or anything like that. You go, no, you
yeah.
can't, you don't show that. And I
See,
just,
I find it very difficult to say much about this film because I just sat there and it kind of just it went on and I just lost interest in it.
I got me, I did the same. Like at least with the first one, I sat there and okay, yeah, I didn't like it, but I watched it. This one, I found myself sort of looking around what was going on. So I was watching it. I could see it in my eye and my eyesight, and I'd like so like I am now staring at watching it. But I then realised that I was paying more attention to stuff that was in my peripheral vision.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was paying more attention
I've got to say, I actually ended up watching this three times
because you fell asleep.
because, yeah, the first two times I fell asleep. I just could not. I didn't have any interest in what was going on.
Well, I watched it. I watched it upstairs this morning. Again, watched it twice because I thought, it might be better the second time. No, I watched this. I watched it the first time by myself, and I was like, okay. So I watched it again this morning. I thought, fresh eyes. Maybe it's because I was tired when I first watched it. And I sat there, and about halfway through, I just heard all I heard was because I watched it early hours this morning, so like Amy was asleep, and
Mm,
all I heard was her just go turn that because of the fact that it's just it was the screams in certain places that I think were over the top. And
yeah,
again,
it
I
was.
don't want to praise the first one because I just genuine man rip that apart, but I
Well,
genuinely think that is I agree with you. It's a little bit better than this one.
I would honestly say we've now found two films worse than that, which is this and Starship Invasion.
It's I never thought that doing this we would find. To be honest, I never thought we'd find a film but worse than this. But find two is
But the weird thing is to find one that's a remake of the original one from
yeah.
15, from
I
like
would
16 years later. It's like,
I will say for me as well. This is a close contender for Starship Invasion. They're
yeah.
all very close together. And I hate to say that because I'm saying there's a few people in every single film that have gone on and done things that I've really enjoyed.
I think the reason I dislike Starship Invasions more than I dislike this is because it's got Christopher Lee in it, and I'm such a big fan of Christopher
Yeah.
Lee.
So
And
this is this
even he wasn't good enough to
no.
save that film.
This is my problem is the fact that like every film that we've watched, like saying the two Humanoids of the Deep one and Starship Invasion have all got actors in it that I love, and they've all made films I adore, and or been involved in stuff that I like is close to my heart, and I'm like, yeah. But then
Yeah,
I watch stuff like this, and I'm like, it's almost the same. I sit there and just like I'm almost we watch stuff like this, and I almost go, I'm a bit ashamed to say that I do that I like that person, but not because of but it's because of that one film.
yeah. No, I know it's.
It's just
I don't know. I'm hoping someday maybe somebody will make a a newer version of this, which will actually be quite good.
I hope not.
I mean, the idea is probably been redone again and again. Yeah, it's
Well, the
probably not
whole
an
yeah,
idea that hasn't been reused.
the whole genetic modification, mutation sort of thing has been done not just with fish, but there's obviously you've got lizard men stuff, you've got stuff like that. It's been done so many times in different ways. But yeah,
I would say
to sit there and make a film and call it a remake and go, yeah, then you should strive to make it better, but not make it worse.
I would say if you want to watch a film about mutated fish,
Yeah.
right? You should watch is it Fishman, Fish Guy, the one that was at the Romford Horror Film Festival, not this year but last year,
Yes. I
which
can't remember
was
what it's called. I
really,
know what you're
really,
talking about.
really good. Um, but no, I mean it's not got a lot going for it, and there's not a lot I
No.
can do to recommend it at all.
I was saying, it's like we've watched a couple of these, and I sit there and go, maybe like you could sort of pass it off like as a like Sunday afternoon film. But this, I wouldn't even watch it. Honestly, even in the sort of my 2 o'clock in the morning sort of moments where I've stumbled in or whatever, I
Mm,
wouldn't. If I put that on, I'd be like, "No, I'm out of bed."
yeah, I mean I mean you know you used to get the A movie and the B movie. I would say this was probably somewhere down around the Q, and the Q would be the one trying to get out.
Yeah, just
I don't know.
I don't know. It's very rare for me to sit there and say that it's like that, but I genuinely think ever so slightly that the original was better.
Yeah,
Ever so
no,
slightly,
I
but
agree. And yeah, I think, and that for me, I think is saying a lot when we say a
yeah,
film that we've torn apart on here, saying it's one of the worst films we've ever seen.
yeah.
It's slightly better than the
But
remake
say
of it.
for anyone that's listening, if you don't know what we're talking about, how much we ripped it apart, go back. Even if you just listen to that episode and how much we ridiculed it and ripped it apart, to say that this film is worse than that, you realise what we mean. And
Yeah, I mean, I think it
this,
was only about what was it, a second or third episode, wasn't it?
yeah, and just the fact that like the whole way through for the last 3 4 seasons, all we've done is reference films back to that. It's not as bad or as bad, worse than that,
Yeah,
and it just shows the fact that no matter who you have in it or how much money you throw at it or whatever, you're not going to make a great film. But so it just shows the people that we do praise, which I know seems. One of my friends said to me, it does seem like we do that a lot, but it's because of the fact that the films we watch aren't that good, and it just proves the fact that if there are rubbish films out there, we're not going to say yeah they're good for the sake of saying they're good at making it sound nice. We're going to call them rubbish.
absolutely. So there you go. That's our films for this week. We have Succubus A Distance, which we thought was a good um,
Good
good
film,
film,
yes,
a good psychological sort of supernatural horror film. That The Room, which was a good film, even though we didn't quite know what was going on with it, but it was
no,
well made and was a good sort of
definitely one
Japanese
I'm
horror
keeping an
type.
eye on.
And Humanoids from the Deep, which, to be honest, isn't worth the celluloid
Isn't
it was
worth the
made on.
IMDb page.
So yes, there you go. Uh, thank you for your input on the show.
That's all right. Normally I say at the end of this, I'm glad I could do it, but I'm glad I watched the
Yeah,
first two.
I I can honestly say, for the first time, I can honestly say that I want to say to you, I apologise for making you watch that film.
Yeah, one thing you've never said for any of the other films that we've watched, though.
I know, I know. Um, yeah. Next week we will be doing something slightly different, actually. In one of we well, no, we'll still be doing reviews of films. It's just that one of the things we'll be reviewing isn't actually a film; it is a trailer for a film. So it can be something a bit different, and like that. So until then, thank you very much, Scott, for being here and with me and doing this thing.
I'm glad I could do it and be part of it.
Uh, yeah, we shall be here again next time,
Yes.
doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Ad infinitum, ad nauseum, and all that. Until then, see you later. Bye.
Bye.
the Sciforror Film Podcast.